So, I'm going to present you my journey to expert on Numerai-Signals. Started maybe almost a year, I think in April or May. You see the tiny star up there because I thought I'm expert on Signals. And figure out, I go through it, how this actually happened. Anyway, what I was going to go through is like a bit who I am, how I ended up here, how about Newton. I will say why Newton is even here when we get there. About optimization methods used, first steps, and intermezzo, because people actually ask me, but how do you actually deploy the stuff? So I will change to probably what session, because that's way cooler. Next step, and the reaching the top, and what is happening. So, studied theoretical physics, went to do a PhD in astrophysics in Oslo, cosmology, I did mainly data analysis. Then, I got this first job after my PhD, which was actually very fun. They didn't have a job for me, so hey, I just do Kaggle and so you learn. And so I got actually paid 6 months for doing Kaggle. I was in that competition having a $100,000 prize. It was airplane optimization, so there were a lot of good people. Being in the top 30 got me high up for a long time. Didn't really do many other competitions after that. And then I went into different startups, like Commander Systems, and then iPowerMe. So iPowerMe, that's still crazy. So I could talk for hours about it, but in short, it was about giving the power of your data back to you. So now we give it to Google, we give it to Facebook, and they then earn money on your data, right? And so we figured out a way how you could actually get paid for it. You can say, hey, this is me, this is who I am, but have you got for me? So giving your data, they were fighting for you and no more you for them. But we were 3 tech guys, we don't know marketing. So we won hackathons, we were even invited to Miami to present somewhere. But then when the marketing needed it was somehow. Newton, I will talk later. And of course, I also have paid jobs. After been data scientist in the green energy branch very long time, and now I'm CTO in Kraft and Melding. That's like, Kraft and Melding is power trading, kinda. It is like when you produce power, you also have to say how much you are selling the next day, you have to say that today. So there is a lot of data science in there. And so there is like, for all the small river power plants, like 300 of them in Norway, we do the thing like they could just produce and we do everything else. That's enough, and so anyway, you see only missing a tie, and then I have the perfect finance background, right? So how did I actually end up doing Numerai? I crossed paths with Runar Bogen, who is not able to be here now. We're doing some other startups, and we build Newton together. That means he will sit and then I do all the optimization and development and deployment, but the basic idea is his. And it's the entry point to Numerai. So he's from the far north of Norway, but I've been using Newton. So what is Newton? That could be also another 3-hour presentation, 1 slide and a half. Comes later, so it derives variables from a sociodynamic mesh modeling the movement in the stock market using Newtonian mechanics. So the easy one is that this one is linked to this name. Now, sociodynamic mesh is how the actions of someone influence the actions of someone else. Kinda. And the movement of stock market, that's obvious. So it permits to define buy and sell signals anytime, anywhere. So as long as you have enough history in your time series, it works, and it's actually pretty amazing, and it is automated. No human, so now I'm getting signals and stuff to buy all the time. But why it's cool, what I like a lot is, for instance, one of the use cases emerging markets. Take Pakistan or Nigeria. GDP is going high enough now that people can start to invest in their future, or think about it. Normal people, but if they want safer stocks or funds like the ones in the US or Europe are supposed to be, they still can't because there is a $3,000 overhead to do that. And so then by removing all the skyscrapers of humans by automating it, you can actually reduce the overhead quite substantially. That's like my favorite application there. Signals can be tweaked to whatever you want, only rockets, and you get like 1 signal every 4 months if you want, as long as you always get them in. It's possible, which market, the needs, like if you are in Dubai, you can say no alcohol, and so on, that works. You have dialogues, you can check it out, that's all. So, we always do optimize things, right? And then every problem has a solution. Like each cat gets food, the whole point is that this is not an optimal solution. But it is a solution, so now how do we optimize? Then, these, I forgot to move it. So it is actually important. So, but Newton does these Newtonian variables, it's in total around 58 variables, parameters you get. So you get your time series of one stop, long enough, then you have these 58 times 2 parameters. Why times 2? Because what you actually do is you have these 58 parameters, you find an upper and a lower bound, and when you all 58, they have all each parameter its own bound, so then you get the sweet spot. When everything is in these bounds, you have your sweet spot, and that's then the value of cell signal. They should be optimized, they're not only very important, but in the stuff I did for Numerai, I think they was equally important. That's why my issue with Numerai is I don't have enough time. No, but can be improved. And then, yeah, these optimizations are different for specific markets, right? So Numerai is just another market. Lesson learned number 1. The above statement is an oversimplification. Numerai is not just another market. So, how do we optimize? I used a genetic algorithm, and I found that this is, I always think it's a bit fun. Like for me, I translate for myself tautology as circular argument, and so yeah. So if natural selection is the survival of the fittest, and the fittest are those who survive.
Are you correct? We know, but the rest doesn't.
Well, like I can give a short walkthrough to a genetic algorithm.
Can I go back one slide on Darwin? It's survival of whatever works. But it's a similar one.
But yeah, so shall I give, is everyone knowing exactly how the genetic algorithm works? Otherwise I can walk through this, it's a bit fun to talk about it.
Well, walkthroughs all the place.
Okay. So you start an initial population, alright? And like here in this example, the population, they always have 2 chromosomes, like say A and B, and different values. Then you calculate the fitness. So in our case, for instance, these are the cell by signals and cell signals 2 signals. That's like you have to define your fitness function, which somehow, depending on the specific problem, is your own thing. Like you are a biologist, so you'll correct me a lot. But then you get to the funniest one, I love this one. So then you have to select, you can select who can procreate, you can define how procreation works. It's super cool. It's like when you will have like, I should have had more examples here. Because here you can just say like, if these 2 are the best ones, then you don't have so many options, so you just mix the genes from these with these, so first and second, second and first, and that's it. But when you have more, you can say like a random number between the length of the genes you have, and like 7 from the mother and 3 from the father, and so on. So there is like, so you can actually define how does it work. And then you of course have the elite as well. The best ones always survive. Like you don't have to, but it's the cool way. If you don't eat your best one, then why, like it takes longer to converge. Then you also put in some mutation when you have your kids, and then just change the random value by a little bit with some probability function. And then you are back at the beginning. You calculate the fitness again. And then is it good enough? Yes, that's it. Is it not good enough? You go back.
What do you mean good enough here?
That's up to you.
Like if the step up in fitness is
yeah. Or then like in my case, what I then did is like, okay, it's like this value, I think it's good, and then you see when you play it live, you put it in some test mode, and then you see it was actually good enough or not. That's how I did it. Like I built a bit, it's a bit like you said before, then someone tells me it's called like this and like that, so I read a kind of this definition of the algorithm and try to code it.
Yeah, I'm only using the 8, isn't like the top 2 of 8 are going through, and I'm not mixing between individuals, but just making mutations within, like making clones, not sex.
Oh, you don't have offspring.
So you
I have clones.
Because you work in you work with bacterial things focused.
Yeah, I do.
That's the science that you will correct.
No, I know the mixing of genes, but I just
only mutation, no procreation.
Yeah, and I have a ton of mutation and competition, and I have a ton of mutation functions, like different things how you can mutate. But I put the code online, so you can also look in whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and good enough, you could just, if you use this ellipsism, at some point you will not find anything better, right? So
Yeah.
this
Then you
doesn't
can-
happen for
like an early stopping in neural networks, no?
Exactly.
You can say after 10 generations and you still have the same elite, well then that will be ready.
And I allow it to go to get out of a local peak. I actually allow stuff to end up being not better. Like I do 8 generations and then I pick whatever was the best one in those 8 generations in a way. And if it's worse than what I started with, I don't mind, I just go on with the worst. And it tends to climb out and then get better again a little bit later on. But there's 100 different variants doing this.
I mean, before doing this, I was doing Monte Carlo Markov chains.
Yeah.
That's what I was. But then there was some competition somewhere where I worked, and then one who did genetic out was one, so I said I have to change. It seems more powerful. So going back to these first steps, we have it all. We just have like 58 sweet spots, and we have to define one signal. And then what do? You just read the docs, and you learn your lesson number 2. Understanding the docs is part of the competition. Because, like, I can ask a quiz based on the docs, not on what you know, what is a signal. It used to be written there. Signal is, for example, the PE ratio. With my strong financial background, I knew exactly as much as I knew before. But I have to give, I just saw now when I wrote this, I actually did improve that part of the docs. So it was just fun. So anyway. So we have to define a signal, so you read the docs without adjust, and you deploy some models, genetically optimized for different markets. I think you just use what I already have, so stuff like Tokyo and 1000, that's news and Nasdaq, because around 8,000 stocks. SP500, Binance, crypto also, because I live in also, so I have my own private signals. And I also made one forest from random forest, just because it's the one which takes you 5 minutes. I built from these 58 variables and using the first target I found, which I'm not even sure it was the right one. And this was how it looked at the beginning. So that was anyway before MMC, so I had this and this GC up here, and it was like, so I removed the time, but like a month or something like that, I think, don't remember. But anyway. So I saw these and I just thought, yeah, that's the end of it, right? Looks good. Now lesson number 3, the Bahamas is a bit further up. Because what happens, I know here I said also because here I put because I said I just deploy. So what does mean just deploy? I had the remote machine available. And I use task to run Python. It's like I don't know, like chapeau to everyone who managed these. Like I don't know how much I scored task scheduler.
I stopped using task scheduler. I didn't trust it anymore.
Yeah. I will go to the cabo if I always wanted to go. But that's what I had. It was free. No, you have this free tool available.
So you use good to know because I was using always the cron on the Linux, you know, and I had the remark there. I found that the Windows as well have the task schedule, so it could be down to Windows.
It has like hidden features like if the task is running for longer than 4 days, shut it down. What?
And because this something across time zones. Make it something, make it right across time zones. It doesn't mean what you think it means. Like so cron. Like doesn't mean I work on Ubuntu. So I know what I mean. Like then the task scheduler is an over. But then, so what we do, we fetch the stock market data from 12data.com. We got that version a few times. I think they're super cool. They're not free. But we actually talk with them, you know, like, hey, this doesn't look good, what happened to this time series? And they fix it, you actually can talk with them. So I think that's super cool, but I'm not being paid by them, so I stopped. And then these Newton variables, so we compute them for all the Numerai stocks. So that happens, so then I get paid around 5,000 times 58. Then I do have weekly training. I retrain models every weekend, and I have the daily submissions over some this Windows machine. It works. That's what I'm teaching the money. That's what I wanted to say, like the intermezzo how we deploy. Okay, so now, 3 months in, everything looks kind of good, like here I'm still figuring out stuff, right? And so then it goes up. Still my Bahamas. Then this is the other matrix. We didn't have MMC yet, so again now I have the dates for one. the like correlation of these one model was good and so on, so it looks good, and they can even give a spoiler. That's what it looked like what's now, no? February 24, March 24. What I want to say here, like this is cumulative, so that means that it went up.
It's a bit nothing.
It went up from here and then it's like fluctuating, it's like a bit positive, a bit negative. But this model is amazing for another reason. Because I took this, it was a SP500 optimized model. I just have 58, what do you call it? 58 parameters or 58 sweet spots. And I just say if all 58 are in the sweet spot, the signal is 1. If 20 are, then the signal is 0 or less as well. And it's linear in that I didn't do anything else. So 20 gives you 0, 58 gives you 1, and that I plugged in. So with these variables doing kind of no data science at all, I was able to get these, which I think is pretty amazing. That's why I think these Newton variables are pretty amazing. And if there is more time, one can do a lot with it. 3.1 months in, the first forest model, which I just tried, starts to go down a bit. I just think, yeah, actually you're right, it's just fluctuations, right? For a while it actually does, and then it just goes down. And normally trained, like now I know, it cannot be good forever, no surprise there. Lesson learned number 4, you have to react, because unstake happens only after round completion. That means that when I say, wait, this is going bad, I unstaked everything, but I have to wait 20 rounds till it takes effect, so I lost everything in that model in these 20 days. So that's lesson number 4. Then proceed to build models on new forests, just what I have to try, what I'm arranged to train on, what are all the targets, and then I don't have any LaTeX, I didn't figure out how to make eagle smiley. That is like, let's check the dogs, they will have answers, they don't. But I asked in the last fireside chats, and also to learn, so we will not know what the targets actually are, it's just targets they use and which we can have and we can use. But, so then I first deploy some models. Combining 2 targets, trained on 4 months of data, I draw some weekly data and monthly data. That's why I already talked here about historical validation, and now I talk about 4 months or less. Yeah. Because I read it somewhere and it actually worked. And so this gets me, so this is when these forests started to go bad. So I go down here and then I do all these, and so see, I go here to almost 0. Then I even get these cool stuff, that's our internal Slack, so there I say it's a bit tiny. Merry Christmas, we just became expert today. That was on the date on December 23rd. Because they were saying that the season finishes, the last submission is on the 1st of January. So I thought, yeah, so if you're expert on the 23rd, you can be expert. But already here, also scared we might lose 2 rounds left, but the new models came in and the FTC is not so high yet, so it starts to pull it down, right? And then lesson learned number 5. It finishes when the round's complete. That's good. So there is more. We actually, back then we also had medals, right, on the thing. So we got gold medals, and it was pretty amazing. Like gold medals, 3 bronze, not 3 silver, 2 bronze, and total payout minus something. And the same 1 gold, 1 silver, bronze. Maybe golds, they look cool. Like, you see how far off the edge they are. And we also lost, so you can guess, it was back on the time very cool and also not staked on TC, so the 2 models which got gold were the ones on N8000 and they had not staked on TC, obviously. But that's lesson number 6, staking is its own science. Thank you, glad that I will use it. Somewhere along the way, just a step speed now. Hear about XG books, it's amazing. So of course, what do? You build them.
All you need is all you need is
exactly, that's what there's stuff like that I heard. So let's do it. So some are, but yeah, but so some are, but not all. So and I was so smart to submit the first one in December. So that was the KISS by expert. Because like you, that also the other lesson. If you care about your position on the leaderboard, it's hard to see. Do not try new start things in December. That's hard to learn the hard way.
Don't stake on them.
Numerai sets new fixed stake multipliers at some point, so look good for most models. The best one, so we increase the stake. Yeah. So see lesson learned number 6, staking is its own science, so you can also see it here. So this one here is now, I see more and more models, but this one here has a lot of cool stuff. So you see that the stake weighted TC is positive. In that one, the stake weighted TC is positive, and since it's 2 times that, it's even bigger than the negative correlation. And both of them still have negative payout. And you can also see, if you count, there are way more greens than reds. Pointing again, staking is its own science. It's just like the models are actually so practical. I'm pretty sure I could make that good and simple stuff out of here.
It's learning money.
But then you see, like, it's also I can learn. The biggest one here was at 379. But still, it went from these, that was Sun neutral at 1M, which then later, a week ago, Sun neutral at 1M is at 234. So that's 30% then. No? But my choice is an MMC stake multiplier, and I'm crossing fingers. And I call this also beating out. Beating out was in theory that I on stake. In practice, I let it die, and the stuff which survives is the non-beat. And that leads me down to the biggest lesson learned of all. And the biggest lesson learned of all is this score is not a tiny little thing you see on the top left corner, which you think is only for gamers, and maybe one day you click it, but all the information you find in the forum and in the docs. So this score is the one thing which changes everything. So now I can run diagnostics because I had some issues to figure out, and when I asked there, I got some help. I can come here to Frankfurt to learn, I didn't even know it exists. All these meetups. And I can ask for useful things, like they promised me to do it, like returning number of submitted and accepted tickers. And then for 5 months, some months really, I realized, because I sent them with the name US or Mies, whatever is the wrong name, I was sending them, but they were not going through. So I can show the effect of these when I fix these US sticks which I'm sending. But so now we have to go, I didn't manage, because now comes all the cool stuff, because I say, wow, so much wow. And so my colleague, I sent him the presentation, and then he reacted to it, and I just thought it's so funny. Just thought I had to show it, because when he said you have to just know so much. So this is when around here I fixed these 2,000 stocks not sending to the US. And now you see, so this model is my best one, of course. But it looks super nice, and that's like, so February 2024.
I think Tournament did the same thing, and almost all models are doing this now.
They're all going up.
In Tournament, look at the Numerai models, but also many models are something like me, and we're all doing this.
And I already thought it was me.
Yeah. So the one thing I would say for have a time horizon for like 6 to 8 months or something. Like you can work with your models, but these trends take like 8 months or something that we're going through. So it will look amazing for the whole thing, and then it goes does something else.
Yeah, if I'm honest, now when I look back, you see the past rounds, it's mainly green, like 95% green.
Yeah.
Well, now the future is no more so green. This model here.
Yeah.
But it is like this is, like this is pretty cool though. Yeah. So you have the MMC from this model. That's maybe 3 weeks ago when we started to work with this presentation. For 425 whole models. I'm pretty happy with that. And you have like other ones, like this are around 200, 3 months return 98, all time return 132.
Nice.
And then that's how we looked 3 days ago. So now we are at 422 MMC, 175, 131, which makes me showing the same plot someone else showed. If you sort by the last 3 months, I'm actually positioned back. But if I sort in MMC, I'm honest, then I'm position 400. But I have to choose the cool stuff. But it is kind of cool. That means like, and then these other ones, they're also, that's 61, I think. So that means anyway, signals in the last month, most people were losing. Or because if that one is half of that one, and it's still at 60th position.
I think one thing that Wiggle is doing a lot is comparing relative to the other models in that round to judge. Like, he doesn't really care how the model is doing, he just that he's better than most. And it sort of helps you with like these 8-month trends where you think, hey, I'm doing fantastic, or yeah, my model's also going like this for a year. But if you do that just a little bit better than others, then your model is good positioned whenever things go up again.
Makes sense.
I'm not following that advice myself, so but I probably should look into it again. Like compare yourself, like the relative scores compared to the others.
Well, there is another fun thing which I never figured out. So if someone else is in the same position, when you're on the leaderboard, you have this tiny box here on the left, which you don't see. It's a box, which is a search. Like I figured that was when the guy with the oi, he was doing it as I worked 2 weeks ago. Right? It's possible, but it was super cool because these models, you see, they're like stayed so little. I kind of built them and forgot about them. I didn't see that my 4 best models have all a relative in the name. I thought it was about whether you train on 1 month of data or 4 months. But and you see, they have all a relative in the name, so relative is doing something right. So, but this is right. It's not even original. I take from the forum, making all features and targets per relative, ranking per day. So I group them by day. And then like one feature, if today has 5 and that's the highest of the whole day, it will be 1. But tomorrow, if the highest is 15, then 5 day will be 0.6. So I just scale them, rank 8 is normal ranking. But there was somewhere on the forum, it's not even original. But the variables are, that's how I get the input variables are original on the idea. And I take the targets, I also combine them and take the old default target and the new default target. So I use these 2 targets and assemble these 2 models then in. And yeah, so like it will have more hours and more time, so it could be amazing. And Newton is looking for you if you want to join and help us. And simple deal, revenue share evenly, Newton puts the stakes, and just talk to me after. Let's make this greater. And
you are only in signals?
Yeah.
Okay.
But after today I might change. It looks very interesting. There is stuff which you can use and just put a bit of your own spice and it like very.
There used to be somebody in Oslo also doing Numerai called Creator with a K. I haven't heard from him in a long time, but I'm not sure how you would be able to contact him.
But I can try.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I lived in Oslo for 10 years.
The tournament have much lower payout.
Than the Signals.
Yeah, because Signal has 1 at the moment.
Oh, well, yeah,
So this is something which is maybe attracting me.
I might go Signals as well at some point. 2020. But you retrain, you say.
The model every week, yes.
Yeah. So
That's why I used. So when I said use the last 4 months, like I said, and I cheated a bit. I just take time now and 16 weeks. So it's actually only 3.5 months of data because the validation comes later. And on the other ones, I realized that mistake because I had announced when you do 1 week. So then I fixed like 1 week from when we have data. So it's
and you train all the way back to the old data as well, or do you just train on the last few weeks?
just last few weeks.
Yeah, nice.
But that's also not, that's also not even, but someone did, because I took that from a forum. Someone who said that's how we got a lot of gold medals, and the more recent the data, the better. So I read that sentence and I integrated it in. And actually I should test though, I'm going to back what happens if I once just for playing, I train with a lot of data.
Because between my training and validation dataset, I keep like a 10-week buffer, just because it leaks. So that also means that within that 10 week there is information that you're going to use to predict the short term. Have fun that you're doing that. Yeah.
But can I ask you about the model? It was on a slide that you used features and targets like described elsewhere, but the variables, the Newton variables are your own. What do you mean by the Newton variables?
Just like this sociodynamic mesh
It's
there.
predicting like saddles or something, or how people
No,
react to the weather?
it is more like, not because it's actually his idea from the colleague. I don't really know how he does it. I call an endpoint where I get them from, but they have like speed, which I guess will be the speed of how the stock was moving in the last, and they have like 57 more things of that, speed, acceleration, and so on.
It's a technical indicator, is that it? Technical indicator.
If you want, yeah, it's his own technical indicator.
The
Somewhere
name, the
around.
name sounds like it. Like,
Yeah. That's why I also thought an idea could be to put them on Numerai, I just don't know how. And then somewhere else.
So you take features, which must be somehow like a price then, if you use indicators later. The indicators are somehow parameterized, it's secret, as I understood. And then there's...
in signals, it is public. You know what you are training, you can choose. So
No, the Newton variables.
Yeah, okay.
And then there's the target. So there's kind of a fitting going on.
In some, yeah, like there's like I see why you asked because I do both. I do the ones which I call the sweet spot models, like take one. Okay. So all the ones with like SP500, SP100 before a genetic terminator. That's what it stands for. But they're just sweet spot models, they're on trade. Just had like a genetically optimized sweet spot for this market for SP500. I actually expected that the N8000 would work best because it's more general, but it isn't. And then I have all these other ones which have ensemble, which is only the target ensemble, or then I have a relative, which is all the relative, and that are neither forests or XGBoost.
Yeah, but only on the previous 40 days.
40 days? No, 4 months.
4 months, okay.
That's 4 months, and then the other ones are 1 month and 1 week too.
Yeah. I guess my question is, so if you have a model that could be anything, Newton, you would expect it to be good over a longer period of time, right? So if it's performing well now, it should also perform well next month. And of course, the next month you will use the actual data, which is available at that point in time. But why not use all the available data for fitting the model? Because a model that was good the last 4 months, it's kind of hard to argue why it should be good next month.
No, just train on the data of the last 4 months for predicting the targets than now. And then next week I do it again. I just always use
I understood, but it has to be a trade-off, right? So you're getting the most actual data there is,
Less history.
because you forget the history.
That's it.
All the other guys, they take all the history, and of course, it might not be valid. Yeah, it's 20 years ago, might not be relevant anymore. And somewhere in between must be the sweet spot. Do you think that 4 months is actually the sweet spot? Do you think what happened 5 months ago does not? You cannot learn anything about the future.
The whole thing is in the end that I got to learn. I trained this one model, and then I never changed it. And I lost after it was good. That's why I just said, yeah, I have to retrain every week, and I have this too small machine. So I think it should try it more.
It's based on a very small experience sample in a way.
Yeah, it's like as I said, I started submitting the first models in March last year.
Yeah. And the variance of these models, I expect it to be super high. So it could be that tomorrow your model will predict something completely different than today.
That is one thing. One thing is also they usually change. Like now my favorite model, which looked so good, as I said, is a bit red. But the other one, which was at 130% before, which now went down to 30%, is now all green in the future. So it's cool. It's also different types. It's either the tree-based ones, which are doing well, or the sweet spot ones. But I think there is late enough time. There is a lot of power.
You might have a different experience when you use flat design, because some of my models are more than 3 years old, and I don't have to retrain. I don't retrain it. It's just the same model from 3 years ago, and they're still being selected by flat. But yeah, for you, I would say then just also shift the 4 months that you feed flat, and then look how much churn you get if it's possible to actually. Otherwise, if it's just completely different models every month, you might be able to do it, but it's also
Yeah, but there is also the practical stuff like in XG, like the one I was talking with Joe about, is that when you have a random forest, and then if you don't have enough trees, when you submit to diagnostics, you get every time a different result. It's also obvious. It's randomly splitting your data and you don't have enough to converge. But then to have more than 1,000 trees on that machine, I realized I need a new machine. Because then I tested it around in my local machine, which is not always up, and when you have enough trees, you get repeatable results.
Yeah. And your diagnostics you run locally or you run on?
Oh, no, I do that a bit.
Yeah, the code is available, so you can run it locally as well.
Yeah, because then that was my next step. That's one of the cool next steps that you can use if I can run it locally. It can be my fitness function. Like with the 4 outputs, then I choose, okay, let's make one which the correlation, which is one of the metrics we still use.
In Numerai-Signals that they have the code.
Yeah, it is there. And
Also, there ways to make it much faster. But
Yeah, it's also slow.
yeah.
And also some guys are doing on training on validation data and then validating against the trained data.
Yeah.
So when you calculate it locally, because when you do training on validation data set, then obviously this is distorting completely the,
Right.
the validated diagnostics on the platform. But if you calculate it locally, you can do it elsewhere, differently.
You can have your validation can be the first 300 errors, or the first, in your case, the first 960 errors.
No, but what I did when I did my diagnostics, I got down like, I don't know, 10 months of the data, got all the variables which I need. Then I act like, okay, now take the first ones, and then I shift it by 3 weeks, that's your target, and then that's what you submit for this Friday here. And so there should be no future leak, and then you go down by 1 week, you go by 1 week, and so on. Yeah, otherwise. Yeah, the Signals is fun, and I like it. But as I said, I think I have to figure out how to use Numerai or something.
So you're looking for collaborators, right?
Always.
Have you considered turning your thing into a higher order competition layered on top of Numerai?
Let's say again.
So do you want to run a competition on top of Numerai?
I wish like use these data who makes
So
less
you
money
have
with
your
these data.
proprietary signals.
Mhm.
You want to obfuscate it in some way, give it to people, turn it into a contest. How about that?
Yeah, but I first thought step one would just be Numerai, no? But then people have to pay for
So
it.
Numerai is very different, like Numerai is on the buy side of things, not really on the sell side of things.
Yeah, but someone sells.
So do you want to sell on Numerai or do you want to buy on Numerai?
No, so I thought sell, like the beauty of whoever wants to use the signal, but I don't really know how it works.
I think it's small potatoes if you're selling on Numerai. I mean, obviously you're funding it and whatnot, but still, you should think bigger.
Yeah.
We can talk about it later.
I think the interesting part would be these technical indicators.
So
which
you
could
have
be
all these technical indicators, you think they're good, so create a contest around it.
That makes actually sense. I mean, we have some pilots running with goes on the website, but then, as I said, it's my optimization I made, which I made my own genetic algorithm, so there is way more to do that.
Yeah, but your top level model is XGBoost, right?
Yeah, for one node.
For one node of them.
No, one was the first one.
Uh-huh.
That's the forest.
Yeah,
That's the forest.
it's quite possible that there are other,
Yeah, that is in the forest, and the other ones are
and that is the best model that you have.
But the other ones are younger, they can still come. But in the 3 months, that doesn't count whether they're younger now.
Because I always dreamt of having something on top of Numerai.
Isn't it risky, like that they change something and then your whole competition has to change overnight?
Well, they change something, you change the same thing.
Yeah.
But you can add, you can provide features that Numerai can never dream of, right? Like, staking stable coins is something you keep talking about all the time. You can do that.
Staking what?
Stable coins.
Stable coin instead of some token. Yeah? And because of signals, someday you could become your own hedge fund.
There's a lot of stuff. But there is also a lot of tests saying artificial self that I should do. Like you submit all these 5,000 or 4,700 signals out of the 5,000 around I get, or 600 something. So I actually want to just check what do they look like. I could do a proper back testing of that.
Yeah.
Which is always like, yeah, I'll do it next time, and then I have again a week and I invest in these, and then then the new ticker names came from Numerai, so I had to do that weekend and so on.
Fair enough. I mean, there's a lot of value in just cleaning the data and cleaning the tickers, having your own data. You're doing a lot of this stuff. Right? It's good. I'm not a business guy, but I think you can scale this up a lot.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Thank you.
Can I play a video one more time? And
Yeah, go
it is so good.
What's this?
I think this is going on the memes.